Hello and welcome back to the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planet. You are watching Daily Dive. It is Thursday, March the 20th, 2025. We are live on 12 Ounce Sports via YouTube, Roku, and Fire TV. Subscribe to the 12 Ounce Sports YouTube channel for other great shows and live sports. And don't forget, by the way, folks, every weekday at 7 a.m. Eastern, it's the Rome Show. I promised him I'd give him a shout out after he gave me a shout out earlier. He does a really good job with the morning stuff on all sports, and even shouts out lacrosse sometimes. On today's awesome show, LFG for week number 17. I have a very big guest for that segment, so you want to stay tuned. Christian Bianco, he is actually not the guest for that segment, but we're going to air an interview that took place last night in the wee hours. It was a good interview, okay? It's Christian Bianco. He will not be live, but he still was able to give us his time, so I'm very excited for that. And of course, the NLL Awards races, who are now my top 3 MVP, goalie, and Rookie of the Year candidates. You'll want to tune in for that. We want to first let you know this show is presented by tickets.12ouncesports.com. Tickets.numbers12lettersozsports.com. Get your National Lacrosse League tickets for less by going to that website. The website includes every sport, not just the NLL, and all your favorite artists' concerts, not to mention Broadway and theater. Tickets.12ouncesports.com. Let's get into LFG, and he's, boom, Mr. Leroy, our social media manager. How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Are you on the Are you like Broadway or theater?
No, I'm not a big Broadway guy myself. No.
Adam Levy did it to me, so I thought I'd do it to somebody else. I felt pressured into that. So okay, we're good. So
Okay.
you're on. Just to let you know, folks, this is the second time Leroy's ever. Actually, that's a lie. Second time with me. Third time you've graced the airwaves of 12 Ounce Sports. And this time this was like something very quick that happened like literally 10 minutes ago. Like, you're about to say, hey, you want to come on the show? You're like, yeah, cool, we're here.
Let's get it.
All right, so we got 7 games this weekend. I don't think all teams are playing because 2 of them have back-to-backs. So it looks, I'm not sure which 2 teams they are. That's my preparation sucking, but let's let people know that. But we do have 2 games on Friday. All times will be Eastern, and Leroy's going to help me do a new thing, like breaking down these games. Not taking away from Adam Levy, but just our own little takes on just the storylines in these games. Ottawa Black Bears, Halifax Thunderbirds at 6 o'clock in Halifax. Leroy, did you catch my stat? I mean, Ottawa's got 2 chances to fix this weekend, but they are the only team in the NLL averaging less than 10 goals a game on offense. That's insane with an offense with Jeff T and the emergence of Jacob Dunbar. I'm not asking you to pick the game right now, but just what is your storyline? Is Halifax going to keep rolling? Like, how are we feeling, man?
I mean, I think they're definitely looking for a turnaround from last week. You know, I didn't think that's how their game last week was going to go. Yeah.
Against Rochester?
Yeah. I'm also a big longbow guy. So adding him, into the offense, I was hoping to see, some more out of their front end. But Halifax is rolling. They're doing awesome right now. They're coming in at 8-5 too. So they're rolling. It's going to be an interesting game to see where this one goes.
Do you agree with me that Dan Ladisor is on the hot seats for the Ottawa Black Bears?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I also think that the management obviously has strong feelings about him since they kept him from the New York or Long Island days, the Riptide days. So
poor Riptide.
Yep.
It was good. Did you ever go to any Riptide games? I know like you're in that general area.
Yeah, I went to one Riptide game against Georgia. Yeah.
How was the arena? I've heard the Long Island arena was not impressive.
It wasn't bad. I mean, it's a decent venue. I was not big on their announcer. I brought my little brother to the game, and he was complaining about
The
their
PA.
in yeah, about their in arena,
Yeah.
and he was like, I just want to hear the game. I just want to hear like he was just
And they
every
weren't bringing
time.
enough fans to overrule that either, like to overrule his
True,
voice.
true, true. Very true,
Yeah.
very true.
Um, I think. Do you think, just real quick here? I don't want to take forever on this game, but Micah Kersey, do you think he is the Because I took him off the hot seat. Do you think the Thunderbirds need postseason success, or do you think he's good because of how good they've been this year?
I think there's some weight to it. Like there's some weight to how good they've been. So I wouldn't
Right.
necessarily say he's on the hot seat. I think they really need to see a home playoff game. If they are able to make, past that hump and get into the playoffs, I think they'll be a lot better off.
They're on the road to that too. Just checking the standings, and then we'll get to the next game. Blast my internet. Okay, yeah, they're fourth, so that would be they would host the Georgia Swarm. That would be fun.
That would be a
Wow.
great game. I bet you
Yeah.
they would pack the Scotia Bank, right? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, dude. Halifax, their fans have been impressive with what they're doing over there. All right, next game, 7:30. So you got time while the Halifax game is ending. You got time if the Birds are blowing out the Bears, obviously. um,
Mm.
you got Bandits who might do the same thing to the Dogs, the second and final of the Friday games. What? Let's just not even talk about this game because let's just pretend the Bandits are going to dog walk them. That's no pun intended, actually. Do you
Okay.
think, what do you think needs to change for Las Vegas? I don't know if it's coaching. I think Sean Williams does a great job growing the game around the area. But what seems to you to be the issue as a box lacrosse player yourself with Las Vegas? Or is it a lot of things or just one thing you can boil it down to?
I mean, obviously you look at their goals against.
Oh,
So my first look, it has to be the back end. What's going on defense, or
agreed.
obviously they need to strong up their goaltending or strong up the defense in front of their goaltending. But something obviously needs to change back there for them to try to change the season around. And then you look at goals for, and they're not far off by any means necessary. Like it's maybe I would say they need to put up an average of 10, 20 more goals like throughout the season for an
Right.
average. So
Yeah,
more
you mentioned the
goals for,
goals
less
against
goals
average.
against.
What do you
Hmm.
say?
I said they need to let in less and score more. It's a
Yeah, they,
great
they yeah they got
breakdown
like
right there.
eight. Yeah, I love it. They got 8 games this year of 15 or more goals allowed, which is to me not all on Landon Kells. But
Hmm.
I just looked at this and another one of those weird stats. So the only team allowing more than 13 goals a game, they're at 14.6. That's such an outlier. It's so bad.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. That's right. Comes to that back
I,
end, has to.
I refuse to look at the odds until tomorrow. But I'm assuming that might be 2.5. It might be 3.5. That would be
Hmm.
crazy. I haven't checked it yet though.
Okay, that
All
will be.
right, we got a comment here. Let's see if it's hopefully it's captain, right? That'd be funny. We got Kai the goalie. Yeah, goalie talk I hear. Yeah, you got it. Kai the goalie. He's a legend on the show by now.
They need
All right, so
Kai.
Sarah,
That's what they need. They need Kai. They need Kai back
I'm
there.
telling you, they need somebody. I don't know if even Christian Del Bianco could save them. I also said that about the Vancouver Warriors. I don't know. Philadelphia
Mm.
Wings. Toronto Rock. Listen, Wings are reeling. Rock, I have been competitive for what that's worth with a 9 or 10 record.
Yep.
What? God, this game is tough. Like I said, I don't want to do like the whole predictions thing right now. But how do you feel about the way? What has been the problem for the Wings? I'll say in this stretch for me.
Hmm.
Just wondered.
I'm not really sure. I mean, I did see them play that game against Albany at home, and
Y'all
then I watched
swept
them.
them.
Yeah, I watched them on the next game that they played, that Philadelphia played at home against Albany, and I'm not really sure. I'm not sure, to be honest. It's weird. It's like they're either on or they're off, and I think it might
Yeah.
have to do with their offense, which I don't want to call out friends of the program, Mitch Jones and Joe Rez,
Come
because they
on.
do an amazing job. And Joe Terrace will go on a run, and he'll reel that team back in. But I think it's
Yeah.
the rest of the guys in the offensive end.
Yeah,
So
and I'll admit Brandon O'Neill started strong, but I hope he can take the next step. He's still super young. But trading
Yeah,
away Holden
yeah.
Katoni, you're basically kind of punting the season, but also saying, O'Neal, show us what you got. And so
Hmm.
far, he hasn't taken the super big step I thought he would immediately. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah,
I just the Wings might have the same problem the Deaders Dogs do. They have Mitch the Snoo. Shout out to them. And I still don't know if he goes back to Toronto automatically. I
hmm.
think their back end is still not doing Nick Demuth any favors.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
That being said, I might lean towards the Wings or the win, but again, I'll leave the predictions for
Mhm.
tomorrow. Bandits Firewolves, second of two for the Buffalo Bandits. Leroy, you always go to Albany games, and my understanding is you're not going to this one.
No, yeah, I have a power this weekend, so I can't
Love it.
make it. Tough one. I would love to go, but I'll save myself from all the screaming Buffalo fans.
No, taking shots. How dare you? Listen, this seems like a game again. I don't want to predict it. I mean, feels like an upset spot for me. Like I might not even pick that, but chances Albany pulls an upset. What do you give the percentage of that?
I mean, I definitely didn't expect the way they played against Georgia. They definitely need to rise to the occasion once again this weekend.
Right.
Obviously, Buffalo is a much bigger opponent, a much stronger opponent. So I'd love to see how they match up after a strong outing against Georgia.
Right.
But like I said, I'm not too sure about where they're going to go. It's kind of a big test for them now that they've kind of got the ball rolling. There's people say there's still a little hope in the season. So
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, this
I
will definitely
still,
be the test.
yeah, I still feel like those. I mean, it feels like if you're gonna make a run, it's like now or I feel like this is like the season. Obviously, 10 losses is not gonna cut it. Especially,
Yeah.
I keep saying the losses they had at the beginning of the season is completely what derailed it. So now, any chance you have to win. And you have to obviously hope for other things to happen. It happened for Rochester last year. To be fair, the
Hmm.
impossible is possible.
And
March Madness.
what was tough for them too is they were losing a lot of one goal games or by losing in overtime. Like it was close games. They were close in the
Yeah.
beginning. They couldn't finish. So
Yep.
we'll see.
Almost blew it to Georgia, by the way.
Yes, I was very nervous. I was telling some of the players after the game, I was like, you guys make me nervous there.
It's like this meme. Oh crap! Here we go again. The guy walks away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
basically.
bad. All right. Saturday 9 o'clock. The two late games. San Diego Seals at Calgary Roughnecks. Do you think it's crazy that Nick Rose almost made my goalie of the year ranking? The dude has only got 4 wins, and yet he joins a contender. Has the second best save percentage in the NLL. So instead of
Mhm.
asking you about the game, I'll ask you about Nick Rose. Do you think Nick Rose, there's a chance if the Roughnecks won one final run in the last 4 games, he could win goalie of the year? I mean, come on now.
I think there's a possibility. I mean, all it takes is for, sometimes a change of venue, change of team, change of, sweater, and it wakes those players up. So there's
I
definitely
think
potential there.
that could be. You told me before the show it's gonna be a great game. I agree. Like
I
San
agree,
Diego's
yeah.
hitting their stride.
They are too, yeah. San Diego's also rolling, Calgary's picking up, and I think this is going to be a great game.
Is it game of the week? You think? I mean, I know
It
you want to
should
say
be.
Albany Buffalo, but it's got to be right.
No, it should be game of the week, definitely.
Now it's funny. Then it's sad because the next game after that starts an hour afterwards. It's also might be right up there with it.
Hmm.
Georgia at Vancouver. Georgia gives me some letdowns, but Leroy, did you catch the Vancouver Toronto game much last week? Del Bianco's debut.
Not, not a lot, not a lot though.
So my thing is, for those that did catch it, I took the leap of faith. I think they're now the eighth best team. I think they could rise higher.
Hmm.
Georgia does this trick where a lot of weeks they show up, and then some weeks it's like they piss me off, like nothing, like they lose to Albany. No offense.
Hmm.
I feel like if Vancouver gets a win against Georgia, like they're a contender, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think so. I mean, I believe Georgia is still a contender, whether they lost to Albany or not. Teams have
Mm,
those games. And one thing against Georgia too is when they kind of figure out how to lock down, Lyle and Miles, it changes a lot for Seth Oaks
yeah.
and players like that to get their mix in when their predominant players aren't getting those touches that that they need. You know, the offense has to start essentially through these other players, and sometimes it's hard to get the ball rolling that way.
I really hope Vancouver gets a win, and I shouldn't say that as a Swarm homer down here, but the Del Bianco story is going to be if they go in the playoffs and get dangerous, such a good story for the league. After all the time he had to sit out, stayed ready, stayed available, and now it's like the league needs this to happen, in my opinion.
Yeah, with CDB in the back end, they've turned themselves into like a real chippy team, and you never really know, what the offense is going to do for them, especially with how, CDB contributes to their transition game and stuff like that. It really changes the look of this team all the way around.
Well, last thing I'll say on this game is I'm kind of happy that Del Bianco did pre-record because I feel like he's like, this guy's just soaking me up. He would be backstage wondering, why are these guys just soaking me up right now? Ball washing me for no reason.
I saw that interview. Like, I'm sick of talking about myself. Everyone's, and it's true.
That was incredible to me.
There's a lot of attention on him right now. So,
God, the goalie can't trust me. Listen, man, I can't trust Albany. I mean, I can't trust Georgia, man. Come on now. Colorado, Ottawa game on Sunday. I guess the powwow should be over by. You're probably gonna try to tune into that one, right? Ottawa's Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to tune in as much as I can. Whether I'm there or not, every chance I get, I try to at least, have my eyes on the game, try to have an understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, Ottawa's also got a second of a back-to-back. Colorado, I'll just ask you one last thing, and then I'll let you go here. We'll get to the Del Bianco interview. Chances they can still win a title without Zed and Eli, because if Eli's firefighter thing is going to keep him out, Zed we know is probably out for the season. Is there a chance? I think Will Malcolm gives him a fighting chance, but man, those are two big losses, right?
No, those are huge. And I think the Eli thing was completely, side blinded for the season. Obviously, Zed was a bad hit, for that team. Right. But without Zed, without Eli, it's tough. A lot of that weight is going to go on Malcolm's shoulders, and we'll see how that goes. Sometimes he's hot, sometimes he's not. So
crazy. You know what? Let's challenge. This is such a bad challenge. Challenge for Jeff T, because last week he had no turnovers. Let's see if we can. Let's see 2 turnovers or less over 2 games. I really want to see Ottawa do well, because it would be cool for like one of the best players in the league to have a good team. Like US Connor Fields has Rochester. Like, I mean, Jeff T's got to have something, right? Come on, man.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes teams get rolling on the back-to-back. Sometimes their sticks are hot. They're already. Into the ins and outs of their offense, and they're fresh, essentially. Other times it kind of wears them down, but I think having the day in between is what's going to be the big difference. I also have heard that players prefer playing the very next day. And it
Curtis Dixon, I think, said that too on the morning shoot around.
Yeah, that they prefer playing the day right after, because
he said he felt like crap on the day between. I'm like, dang.
The second day of recovery is always the worst. So, and
Euro blocks lacrosse, technically a pro, like semi-pro at least, if anything. So man, world class athlete, this guy. Wow, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the last second nod here. Maybe next time we'll try to hype you up more on the socials if you have any pull there. But thanks for everything, and stay backstage and help us out with the Del Bianco interview for sure.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, folks, Leroy for the 3rd time this season joins us on the show. Last time, I mean, they got 150 plus views on that captain thing with him and captain. That was good. All right, we come back. Del Bianco interview is the one you're all waiting for, and that one's gonna be fun. Pre-recorded, like I said, but cannot wait to show you guys what went down last night on the Zoom or StreamYard airwaves. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll be right back, and you will too. Boy, I butchered that.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Joining us now on a pre-recorded but still a good recording here is Christian Del Bianco. Long time coming this interview, but Christian, how are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. And unfortunately, like I said, this is not live. NLL players have jobs, and that I still can't explain that, but we're here. We're excited.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's hopefully in a couple of years from now, but maybe not. That won't be as much of a problem for us.
Hey, I'm hopeful for it. Are you on the couch right now?
No, I'm just sitting at the dining room table. The couch is in the other room there, so a little better lighting in here, I figured.
I appreciate that. No, I saw the wood walls and got excited there for a minute. So I want to first get into what's hot on the mind here. Not the trade, because everyone's already talked about the trade for you. But let's talk about your win against the Toronto Rock, because I said it before the game. I thought that Aiden Walsh was really good. I saw how Nick Rose played for Calgary his first game, and I thought your team's going to look good, but I know how much better it could look right away. And you guys shut down the Rock like it was nothing. Explain what you guys saw and just how that game went for you guys.
Yeah, I don't think there's easy games in the NLL, so I think obviously seeing them put a bit of a beating to Halifax a week before made us come in prepared, right? And the reality of where we are in the standings and our record is we got a close to win out, so every game's must win. But part of me kind of feels like that's always the NLL, right? There's never these games at the start of the season or down the stretch where you feel like we can afford to drop this one. And I think none of these teams are counting wins or losses before they actually happen. You just try to handle your business every week. So we came in, I think, pretty prepared and obviously a lot of excitement for me and transition period, and we all meshed. So next is Georgia. They're obviously a good team, great offense, and one of my close buddies, Dauber, in net. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, Dobson's awesome. Fun story. I actually told him when I was in Georgia, hey, good game after they lost, but I thought he played well. I just felt so stupid saying that.
Yeah.
But he's awesome.
No, he's a beauty. He's a pretty confident guy. And I actually met him through one of our good buddies, Brett Beto, who was one of his roommates at university. So we kind of have a funny group chat where we're always sending stupid stuff to each other. And Beto's kind of just the third wheel that brought us together.
I love that. Love those stories in the NLL that come about. So let's get into the morning shoot around, because I'll be honest, I have I watch a ton of like NLL content as much as I can, like the stuff that is available. I I like it better than Daily Dive, and people know I love listening to myself talk. But you tell me, were you? Because I feel like you kind of mentioned this on the podcast on one of the episodes. It seemed like it was Tyler's idea, and you didn't want to do it. How did this come about, and how have you liked it so far?
Yeah, it's fun. I think Tyler was definitely a big pusher of it, and him bringing on Tino probably makes us seem a little more legit than we are. And Ty Klarner, I can't say enough good stuff about what he does behind the scenes to make it look professional. But it's fun, right? I think it's a little different. It's because we're players, we have a different perspective, but I feel like we're also willing to kind of make fun of each other and be a little more critical of guys around the league. Not so much guys that we don't know, but when it's your friends and it's your buddies, obviously there's a different line that you can kind of cross every once in a while. So we're having fun with it, and it's getting a bit of traction. So we'll see how long we can keep it running for.
I was gonna wonder, like, is this like a into this like future or so far? We don't know yet. How
Yeah, I
far are we
think the
going with this?
plan is to kind of keep it going into the summer, and I think in the summer we'll probably have a little bit easier time getting some guests, and I think kind of drawing away from that a little bit, an idea that we're kind of trying to get to, maybe some of the elite guys that we have out in BC who go to big Division 1 schools, kind of bringing them on the podcast and sometimes talking about some more serious stuff, right? Like about how their recruiting process went to them, how do they like the school that they're at, all that stuff, because I think that can be something that's a great learning tool for some young players around the Lower Mainland.
It's been entertaining, just like and informative. But I love some podcasts. I feel like don't do a good job of like balancing the two out. You guys have done amazing with that. Newest episode, I believe we've now teased that Keegan Bell is on it. How'd that episode go, and without spoiling anything?
Yeah, he's pretty funny, and I think our biggest concern is me and Tyler like to talk a little too much at times, right? So we're trying to keep the guests active and try to keep them contributing to the show. And Kean kind of hit it out of the park, right? The entire time he was kind of looking at us like, "Are you guys going to talk?" And we were just laughing at him the entire episode, and so many good stories and different little things. And I think him being another BC guy, there's so many common friends and different characters that are part of all these stories he's telling us that we know. So I think it'll be a good one for the fans.
So speaking of BC, which is obviously I believe where you're located now, you have obviously seen Kurt Malowski now building another version of Vancouver lacrosse. I'm sure living over there helped you want to go there too. But seeing what he's built, how cool is it? Just because you're from the area, right?
Yeah, I'm probably about 30 minutes out of downtown Vancouver, so hopping a skip
So
for
how
us.
cool is that seeing that built up this
Yeah,
quickly?
it's cool, right? And I think it's something that our league's been missing, right? I think you look at the hotbeds, like I think like probably I don't know what the exact numbers, but I bet you 30% of the leagues from the Vancouver area, right? Or in Toronto and those kind of hubs. So there's not really a reason for us not to have a competitive team. And I think bringing Kurt in just kind of makes it an easier sell for some of these players that are hitting free agency and hitting that point of their career that maybe coming home is desirable. But on top of that, guys want a chance to win, right? The money, that kind of stuff isn't really the driving force in our league majority of the time. It's hey, this is close, it's convenient for me, and hey, I have a chance to win a championship. So that's what we need to sell.
So I got to ask you now, like my part of the trade that I want to know, because obviously everyone's already picked apart the whole thing, but what was the beginning of the end, if you can disclose that, in Calgary? Was it just moving to Vancouver, realizing what you wanted, or what was the beginning of the end for you?
Yeah, there was a lot of really good years in Calgary for me, and I think that's a hard thing to let go of as a player. But you also understand as life's changing and the organization in Calgary slightly changed, right? It's
Right.
as much as there was good times, you start to have these times where it doesn't feel quite the same as it used to, and that doesn't mean it's wrong or right. It just means that maybe the fit wasn't quite the same, right? So
Yeah.
I think coming home, it's terrific, and having a coach like Kurt, it's exciting. But I can't say enough good things about my time in Calgary. Right, there's a championship in there that I'll definitely never forget being a part of, and an MVP season that so many good guys were around me, the defense, and I can't give the organization enough credit for the way that they're able to compete, right? They competed before me, they're competing after me,
That's
right?
crazy.
And they competed the entire time I was there. So they know how to put together a good lacrosse team, and they know how to keep their fans invested.
So I guess for Vancouver with you guys, what do you think? I mean, obviously, the it seems like the narrative around it so far is, oh, you know, a couple years from now they might be really ready to win it. I personally think, and maybe this is just you guys being a rock team that was kind of reeling. I think you guys can win it, could possibly win it this year. What do you think? Because obviously you know what it takes to win a championship. What do you think has to happen for that to keep going?
Yeah,
This season?
I think to be honest with you, our goal is just to beat Georgia, but you have to be realistic with where your team is, right? Obviously, there's a lot of lacrosse that we have to play and a lot of teams you have to beat. So for us to sit here and say that we're going to a championship this year, and that's kind of the be all end all, would kind of be putting the carriage in front of the horse, in my opinion. But with that being said, I don't think there's a single guy who shows up to the arena not to win the last game of the season, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
goal. I think doesn't matter where you are in the standings or what team you're on. Like we're all professionals. We all kind of have that bit of dog in us. So our end goal is to get there, but there's a long way before we make it to the playoffs and then go on our stretch down there. So Georgia's first, and then Buffalo, and then we'll go from there.
Ooh, that's a great stretch coming up. First road game in Buffalo. That's gonna be fun for you.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's one of those kind of I wouldn't I don't can't even say one of those. I guess they are kind of that one arena in the league that everyone looks forward to go playing in, and they do it well, right? They have a great team that gives the fans lots to cheer about, and they have passionate fans. So hopefully we can go in there and have a good showing. But like I said, Georgia's first, so handle our own business at home.
Absolutely. Couple more questions for you, then I'll let you go here. Take me back to Little Christian, and was box lacrosse your sport growing up? I know like you played a lot of like a lot of lower leagues like coming up, but when did lacrosse become like your thing? And was goalie your thing?
Yeah, goalie the whole way up. I have a older brother that was a goalie, so kind of the competitive nature of that was kind of you always want to show them up or kind of prove that you can
Right.
keep up with them. So I ended up playing box goalie and then grew up in Coquitlam, BC, which is kind of a hub out here out west for lacrosse, and some
Yeah.
great junior teams that were kind of growing up that you got to look up to guys like Westberg, Ben McIntosh, Robert Church, both Cornwalls, Matt Biers. Like I think that 2010 team might have about 16 of 20 players that's in the NLL currently.
Oh
So
wow.
it makes it pretty easy to be a fan. So majority of my friends, lacrosse was the sport because it was kind of the big one for our city.
Final thing I'll ask you here is, I think you're like Tyler Pace is more involved with this stuff, but just the CBA coming up. Obviously, you know we've heard the comments from Jamie Dowick. I love the comments from Brett Frew that he ended up coming on, I believe it was OTCB, and talking like, hey, we're gonna be okay. What is being a player in the league? How excited are you for the future of the league, no matter how the CBA negotiations go coming up?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to it, right? One thing I will say is I have full belief in Reed Reinholt and Zach Currier to kind of represent the players and do what's best for us. And I can't say enough good things about those guys as professionals and friends. But I think there's also this thing where we have to coexist with the owners, right? Like it can't be everyone gets what they want. I think the best sign of a good negotiation is both sides are happy or both sides
Yep.
feel like they gave up a little bit, right? It can't be one side feeling like they got everything and the other person's screwed. So I think we have to be reasonable with our asks, and so do they. So that can mean so many different things in negotiations, right? But there is this transition period as players where we have to understand that we're not making millions as a league, right? It's not like if they
No.
had all this money that they would want to give it to us, I'm sure. So we have to be reasonable, and the owners have to be reasonable from a compensation standpoint, right? There is some owners that I do believe are making money and obviously having some pretty good crowds. So there
Right.
has to be a way that we can support everyone and grow the league as a whole. And as that slowly progresses, hopefully player salaries come up. But none of this stuff happens overnight. And I think the CBA will be a big starting point for everything.
I'm excited, man. And one more thing, I'll just ask you to tell the fans, so if they are, God forbid, new and watching the show, how do you sell the NLL to people just casually watching?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of one of the exciting sports, and as bad as it is to say, I always joke that violence sells, right? The sport is pretty aggressive and fast paced. It has a lot of that hockey vibe with some of the basketball plays. So I think in terms of our own fan bases and growing kind of lacrosse focused fan base, I think the league's done a pretty good job. And I think as players, we have to kind of branch out and kind of or gain some of that new fan base, right? People that maybe never necessarily played lacrosse, or people in cities or towns that don't have a big lacrosse field or box base, right? Because the reality is a lot of people play soccer, but a lot of people who don't play soccer watch soccer, right? A lot of people play basketball, but a lot of people who don't play basketball watch. So that's kind of the next big step as a league, in my opinion.
Is there any last thing you want to plug before I let you go off the air here?
No, you know what? I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate we like to banter on Twitter quite a bit, so it's nice to kind of finally meet this way. And I kind of always grind your gears a bit whenever you have a take that I don't agree with, but I do appreciate everything you do, because guys like you are kind of what grows the league. And I think it's not just you, right? There's all these people with podcasts and doing all these little things that if we're going to grow to the next major league, this is what it takes. So as much as we like to bug you guys, we also have to support you guys, whether it's coming on your podcast or giving you credit every once in a while.
See, that's why he really came on. I'm kidding. I'm excited I want to do the Curtis Dixon thing as soon as I can find just a tad bit more money. I'm telling you, I want to do that. That'd be so fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for you to come up in the summer too, maybe watch some WLA and some box lacrosse. But like I said, as much as we all like to make fun of each other, I think you'd realize that most of the players in our league are kind of everyday blue collar people. So we're pretty easy to relate with.
Love it. Thank you, Christian Delbs, as he goes by. And I'm excited for the next morning shoot around. I'm excited for you guys' game against Georgia, man. But thank you so much for coming on.
No, appreciate you having me, and good to talk as always.
Love it.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
You need tickets to that next event? We've got them. That's right, tickets.12ozsports.com. Get you to any sporting event, concert, theater event that you can think of. And the promo code 12OZ or ROME gets you an additional discount. Don't feed the massive ticket corporate machine. Go to tickets.12ozsports.com and enjoy the show. America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Was that fun or what? And I just want to say, we had a couple of commenters. Producer Joe says today's show is what dreams are made of. I'm tearing up right now. That's a good one. Grayson Tapping said, speaking of the recruiting process, CDB, any advice for junior goalies looking to go to the league eventually, especially in smaller markets like the RMLL? I hate that I don't hate, but the interview was not live, so it kind of couldn't get to that one. You can see Del Bianco 35 on Twitter, by the way. He might respond. Kai the goalie said, love this interview. I appreciate the comments, guys. I just couldn't get to those live. It was pre-recorded. Reminder that when you're getting your tickets for the next NLL game, buy them for less at tickets.12sports.com. Tickets.numbers12ozsports.com. Get your tickets for less and have the peace of mind knowing you got them for a good price. And no, I again, it's one of the hard things about having a live show, but we do appreciate Del Bianco coming on. But thank you, Grayson, for that comment. Alrighty, folks. Who's ready for some award races? It's been 2 weeks since I did my last one. So let's go to our first one. Rookie of the Year. This was tough, man. This was so tough for me. First of all, Adam Poitras did get injured in the last game. Still, what he's done is absolutely amazing. He still leads my Rookie of the Year race, and he might still lead it for another week coming up. Albany does have a game against Buffalo. We'll see how they do. But I hope Poitras can come back sooner than later, not just for his Rookie of the Year sake, but for his health, etc. That is such a tough loss for them. All right, Dyson Williams is now number 2, or stays number 2. It hurts for me not to have Brendan O'Neill on this list, but what Dyson Williams has done on the power play has been exceptional. And then there's just a perfect example of why, to me, primary assists do matter. How about the fact Mike Robinson, for the first time this season, makes the list for the Halifax Thunderbirds? He has got 10 primary assists, but according to that graphic, you wouldn't be able to tell if you just looked at the regular assists. Mike Robinson's having a great year. Mike Robinson, if Dyson Williams and Brandon O'Neill are still kind of like slowly building their points, Mike Robinson, low-key, might be a strong candidate for Rookie of the Year. And that makes no sense, low-key strong. He might be a sneaky candidate for Rookie of the Year, and I'm not even, like, I would not be surprised. I'm asking, again, I plead with the voters, do the right thing. Because we like Dyson, just because we like Brennan, if Adam Poitras, Mike Robinson, and even Will Johansson are putting up insane numbers like they are, give them the credit they deserve. If Dyson or Brennan or both have to be left off your finalist ballot, please give them the credit the other players deserve. Alex Stopikis is another one. Okay? We have to look at this not from pre-draft hype, but for what they've done this year. Adam Poitras, Mike Robinson, right now, if Poitras can come back and play some more games, should be 2 of the 3 finalists, and we might have to get rid of Dyson or Brennan. I'm sorry. And I'm a big Brandon O'Neill guy. Come on, man. Next up, Goalie of the Year. It's still doing Ward for me. Here's the thing. Again, you have to nitpick these things. What Matt Vince, I am giving props to a T-Bird, MJG79. Listen, man, the guy's incredible. Like, Mike Robinson's sneaking up, and he's been amazing. But a Goalie of the Year for me is I'm doing Ward right now. Matt Vince, I know he's got the best record, but Matt Vince, to me, having Paul Dawson, who I believe, I'll check these stats exactly again. Paul Dawson has blocked this season, I believe, 35 shots. Do you guys realize how awesome that is for a goalie? Yeah, 35 blocked shots and 5 calls turnovers for a good measure. That matters to me. I don't think Dylan Ward has a Paul Dawson in front of him. He might have some good defenders in front of him. He ain't got a Paul Dawson. And like I said last year with Nick Rose, maybe the voters don't care. Last time I checked, I'm not a voter. Maybe this year I will be, probably not. The point is, I'm manifesting right now. The point is for me, is that last year you had Mitch DeSnew and Brad Cree helping out Nick Rose. Still gave Goalie of the Year to Nick Rose. Guys, I understand that the last line of defense, the defense in front of them has to matter. Just like with Dane Smith, when it comes to the MVP, it has to matter. He's got Josh freaking Byrne right next to him. It has to matter. Which leads me, and Frank Scigliano enters the chat. I was this close to giving it to Nick Rose as my third goalie of the year. Zach Higgins, of course, his team is falling. His stats are not as good as they used to be. Nick Rose only has 4 wins, despite having the second best save percentage in the National Lacrosse League. Bianco obviously started way too late. Warren Hill, maybe, but he's had too many off games for me. Brent Giuliano, I know Thomas Kajzik replaced you, and I've been a big truth teller of that. I think Giuliano deserves it now. Alrighty, MVP. Guys, Connor Fields has 50 more loose balls than Dane Smith. I know people are going to say, well, he's got Ryan Smith. Great points. Ryan Smith has, I believe, like 20 less primary assists than Connor Fields. Like, Connor Fields is the engine that makes Rochester go. Same way Dane Smith is for Buffalo. Connor, again, 50 more loose balls. At what point does that start to matter? And I feel like it might. Now, granted, will he finish MVP number 1? I wouldn't mind it because I'm a big Connor Fields guy. But I will say this about Connor Fields. His team has played 15 games already. They've only got 3 left. He does have multiple 10, like 3, I believe, 3 games this season with 10 or more points scored, which is incredible. But I feel like Dane Smith and like might catch him. But to me right now is Connor Fields. What he has done the last few weeks, and they've been winning games. Again, the last game, Connor Fields had 19 shots on goal and just 1 off target. I cannot explain to you the little, if no times I've seen that this season. Again, they're 8-7. They've only got 3 games left. Bennett's have 6 games left, I believe. So that's a little bit discrepancy there. We'll see how it goes. I just want to make sure I got that right. Bennett's have played 12 games. The numbers have Rotten Nighthawks have played 15. Yeah, that's incredible. That's how the schedule works sometimes. And Lyle Thompson again enters the chat here. The reason why Lyle Thompson enters the chat, despite the Swarm only being 7-6, is because he's dwarfing the numbers of his teammates. Like, Lyle Thompson is the Georgia Swarm, and that to me has to matter, especially if they get a 4, 5, or even higher seed. Those have to matter. So again, Connor Fields, MVP number 1. Dylan Ward, my goalie of the year right now, and rookie of the year is Adam Poitras. God, I hope he gets well soon, because he is going to be robbed of the rookie of the year, which is going to really suck. Alrighty, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in to this awesome show. Thanks for Leroy for popping on at the last second and doing an amazing job. And also on our social media, because he's awesome at that too. Follow him at LJ Lacrosse 49, by the way. I don't do that a lot on the show. Thanks for Christian Bianco for making time out of his busy schedule to grace the airways of 12 on Sports and Daily Dive. Again, it's been a 48-minute show. That's incredible. Reminder, go to Daily Dive LAX on social media to check out our clips, graphics, takes, etc. It's all there. You can also click the link tree in our bio to see our store, or go to dailydivelacks.creator-spring.com. We also have a Spotify. Search Daily Dive if you want to get the safe listening version of the show. Alrighty. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place on Sports. This has been a very exciting and awesome episode of Daily Dive. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks for watching Daily Dive. See you next time.